Today I talk about how to clear malfunctions on a modern defensive handgun. Thanks for watching. There is one method that clears all failure to feed, failure to fire, and failure to eject malfunctions on semi-automatic handguns, but like everything else in this world, especially in this defensive carry community, there's always one exception. And that exception is what we call the double feed. The double feed has its own unique malfunction clearing process. So I'm going to show you that process first, and then I will show you the one process that solves all of the other problems. A double feed is when there is a cartridge in the chamber, whether that's an empty casing or a cartridge that didn't fire, and another round from the magazine is attempting to load in behind it. So we have two cartridges attempting to occupy the same space. And using these polymer cartridges, this is what a double feed looks like. You can see the one in the chamber and the second coming up behind it. And obviously the firearm is what we call out of battery, meaning that the slide is not completely closed. The issue with this is there is spring pressure on the second cartridge pushing it up from the magazine, and there is spring pressure from the recoil spring behind it trying to close the slide, and we're in this locked situation. So to solve this problem, the first thing we need to do is remove spring pressure. So we want to lock the slide to the rear to take spring pressure off of the back of the second cartridge. So we have our slide lock lever here that I'm going to push up on while I pull the slide back until the slide lock lever engages in the notch. So thumb pressure up, pull back on the slide, we're locked, and here we can see the slide is off of the back of that second round. Now we can simply drop the magazine by pushing the magazine release button. And you can see it's this far that that round attempted to feed. So we want to push that back, and we can use gravity as our friend to eject the round that's in here. Sometimes it needs a little help. Now we're back to a unloaded condition. There is nothing in the chamber and there is no magazine. And now we're just simply ready to load the firearm and begin shooting. That's the exception. Now, for any failure to feed, failure to fire, failure to eject malfunctions, they all have the same process for solving those problems. I want to keep my muzzle on my threat. Again, we're talking about defensive shooting. And let's say that I'm in a firing position and I have a malfunction. I'm going to bring the firearm back to this guard position. My elbows are tucked in. My muzzle is pointed on my threat. I'm going to simply rotate the handgun, tap to make sure that the magazine is fully seated. Then I'm going to grab the slide and I'm going to rack, let go, and it's going to eject whatever problem is in the chamber and load me a fresh round, assuming there's a round in the magazine. So I'm going to, and now I'm ready to fire. So it's tap, rack, and we're ready to get back on sights on target. For a left-handed shooter, same situation. I'm going to come back to my guard position, elbows tucked in, rotate, tap. But in this case, I'm going to rotate my wrist so the ejection port's down. Again, gravity's our friend. Rack, problem solved. Back on sights, back on target. That's how to clear malfunctions in modern defensive handguns. Thanks for watching. And before we go, always remember, be safe, stay dangerous, and keep your force justified.